שנה הבאה בירושלים, next year in Jerusalem. Over there in the...
Welcome to Theology in Perspective, the Bible teaching ministry of Dr. Daniel Woodhead.
Welcome back to Theology in Perspective. I'm Daniel Woodhead, and I'm blessed that you could join us again today for our study of the book of Revelation, the revelation of Jesus Christ. Now, we are finishing up with the 7th chapter here. We've been looking at the 7 seal judgments, and I ended in our last session with a verse that the Apostle Paul gave us. And it's in Ephesians 6:12, where we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, you know, the Apostle Paul recognized this, and he's telling us that the great spiritual battle that goes on around us is manifested in our flesh, in the natural matter of this earth. And now, nevertheless, the battle is invisible and it's spiritual. So we've seen now, after the first 4 trumpet judgments, which are on the visible nature, then comes the supernatural, demonic woe judgments. And it's at this time that the invisible, supernatural world becomes visible to the natural world. It's not disguised like Christ spoke of to Nicodemus regarding the wind, where he said, you can't see the Spirit, it's like the wind. But it's fully exposed during the tribulation, and it's going to start unleashing massive pain on the people that live on the earth. And it starts with Revelation 8, verse 7, where the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and a third part of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. So 1/3 of the earth's surface is burnt up. This is not going to be like the first time hail and fire was mingled with blood and it fell to the earth. You know, that happened on August the 17th, 1819, where a man named Captain Ross of the British Navy saw the mountains of Baffin's Bay in Antarctica covered with blood-red snow. Saussure, another, found it at Mount St. Bernard in 1778. So this phenomena of blood raining from the sky has been observed before it, but on limited areas on a real small scale. One of these, according to Pliny, was during the consulship of Manius Acilius and Gaius Porcius. Now, anyway, Babylonians, too, recorded red dust and rain falling from the sky, which are instances of bloody rain that have been recorded in a bunch of different countries. The red dust, it's soluble in water, and it's going to be falling from the sky in water drops. It doesn't originate in clouds, but the other stuff that we've seen, I just gave you the examples of, has usually come from volcanic eruptions or from some cosmic space, like the fall of a meteorite or some phenomena generally known to take place after the passage of a meteor. Now, the dust has been found on the snow of mountains in the polar regions. Now, other more recent observations have also been made. Rain bursts here are going to continue. They're going to continue. Look what Revelation 8 says, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures that were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the second trumpet which is destroying 1/3 of the salt waters, including all the sea life. And it's important to note here that oceans cover more than 3/4 of the Earth's surface. You know, the Atlantic Ocean alone is about 1/3 of the oceans that complete the Earth's coverage. So this great mountain burning with fire, it may be a meteor or maybe a volcano, but whatever it is, it's a supernatural event because God is doing this in Jesus Christ, who's carrying out the tribulation. Now, a number of tribulation judgments are similar to the 10 plagues that God brought upon Egypt before he took the children of Israel out of Egypt and led them into the wilderness on the way to the promised land. This is one of these likenesses. And God also warned us in Joel that these calamities are going to be coming on the earth. Now, one estimate from 1999 put the number of ocean-going vessels at more than 25,000 ships. But look what Joel 2:30 says, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Now, clearly Joe is speaking of the Great Tribulation, and it's here with the first and the second trumpet judgments that this prophecy gets realized. So does Hosea, Zephaniah, and Isaiah. Look what Hosea 4:3 says, "Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away." And Zephaniah 1:3 says, "And I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. And I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord." So back to Revelation 8:10. "And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. The third trumpet destroys 1/3 of the sweet water." Now, wherever the word star is used symbolically, it's a common symbol of an angel, and that's the case here because the angel's name is Wormwood, showing the angel to be a fallen one. This fallen angel causes 1/3 of the sweet water to turn bitter, which in turn caused the death of many people. See, fallen angels are going to be used, as they have been on several occasions, to render judgment on the earth, and this is just one of those occasions. The medium is said to be a meteor falling on the earth, strategically landing on the earth's sweet water, such as the Great Lakes, for example. Did you know that the Great Lakes have 1/5 of all the world's sweet water or fresh water? Now, this has already happened on March the 21st, 1823, when in one of the Aleutian Islands there was a great volcanic explosion, and one of the results of that was the river's waters became like the color of beer, and it was so extremely bitter that it was unfit for any human consumption. God has forewarned us in the prophets of all these things. Jeremiah 9:15. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink." Now, in this verse, God is telling the Jews through Jeremiah what he's going to do for them running away from him and turning away from him. Remember, one of the purposes of the Great Tribulation is to bring the Jews back to him and recognize the Messiah. Verse 12, "And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, and the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise." So the fourth trumpet destroys 1/3 of the earth's light sources. Now, these verses don't necessarily imply that 1/3 of the sun, moon, and the stars are destroyed, only that a portion of their light is impeded from reaching the earth. And as a result of this judgment, 1/3 of the light source for the daytime and 1/3 of the light source for nighttime are completely blacked out. Isaiah saw this too, and he told us in Isaiah 13 verses 9 to 10, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." So the Lord's about to bring the supernatural in view here to the natural as he begins to reveal to the human the demonic world, as he uses them to bring judgment on the world. Back to Revelation. Chapter 8, verse 13, "And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound." With the first 4 trumpets having already sounded, this voice introduces the final 3. And because the 3 trumpet judgments are going to be especially severe for mankind on the earth, they're called woe judgments. You know, as bad as the first 4 were, these last 3 are going to be far more severe. And we're not even halfway through the tribulation yet. So the severity is so pronounced that there's a warning of their approach with a voice in the atmospheric heavens. The eagle is most likely a cherub that we saw in Revelation 4:7, chosen to give this warning to the earth. Now, the first 2 of these woe judgments are demonic invasions, and the third one contains the bowl judgments, which are the worst. The last 7 judgments are the bowl judgments. Some call them the vial judgments, V-I-A-L. Revelation 9:1, "And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses, prepared unto battle, and their heads were as it were crowns of gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. but in the Greek tongue hath this name Apollyon. Wow. Now this passage starts with a fallen star who's given the key to the abyss. The word star is just symbolic of a fallen angel, and the abyss is a temporary place of confinement for fallen angels, which are the demons. You know, it's a place where the demons feared to be sent when they were cast out of Christ. We see that in Luke 8:31. It's temporary. For the final abode for fallen angels is going to be the lake of fire. You know, not all demons are confined in the abyss at the present time. Those that are waiting to be released for specific judgments on mankind. When the fallen angel opens the abyss, the third blackout occurs, and for the third time, there's a total cessation of light from the sun reaching the earth. But it's not the blackout that makes the fifth trumpet judgment the first woe judgment, because out of the abyss, a great number of demons are released for the first two demonic invasions. These demons are commissioned to carry out this fifth trumpet judgment, and they're commanded to refrain from destroying any vegetation, and they're told to torment only those who do not have the seal of God on their forehead. So the Jewish evangelists, the 144,000, they're safe to continue their work, and these demons are commanded to kill no one, but only to torment men for 5 months, or 150 days. Generally, you know, John does not reveal the duration of a time or the length of one of these judgments, but in this one, the timing's given. There's going to be a limit as to how much destruction these demons are going to be allowed to render. Unsaved mankind will be open to torment, but not death. Oh my goodness. Not only will the demons be unable to kill, but also the tormented men will not be able to kill themselves either. Because of the tremendous torment that's afflicted by these demons, men are going to seek to die. They want to die. They're going to attempt suicide. But all attempts are going to fail because they're going to be forced to endure this torment in all of its fury. Now, the description of these locust scorpions, if you will, clearly shows that there's something other than regular literal scorpions or locusts. Their origin is being in the abyss, and it further shows that they're demons. It's not usual for demons and other angelic beings to have animal-like features. This was true of the cherubim and other angels that have come into time and space. The description of the first woe here ends with the identity of the fallen angel who opens the abyss. And his name in the Hebrew is Abaddon, and in the Greek, Apollyon. So we see this meaning destruction. The 5 months of torment are going to eventually come to an end. And although mankind may see some kind of relief, it's going to be short-lived, as the next verse makes crystal clear. Revelation 9:12, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. One woe is past, and there come 2 woes more hereafter. So we're going to look at the first part of the second woe, since the entire judgment is really extensive and it can't be completed all at once. But we'll look at some of this and then we'll finish in our next message. Verse 13, then the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour and day and month and year were released so that they would kill 1/3 of mankind. The number of the armies of the horsemen was 200 million. I heard the number of them. And this is how I saw in the vision the horses and those who sat on them. The riders had breastplates of color of fire and hyacinth and of brimstone, and the heads of the horses are like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths proceed fire and smoke and brimstone. A third of mankind was killed by these three plagues, by the fire and the smoke and the brimstone which proceeded out of their mouths. For the power of the horses is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails are like serpents and have heads, and with them they do harm. The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of their works, the works of their hands, so as not to worship demons and the idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which can't see or hear or walk. And they did not repent of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their immorality, nor of their thefts. Oh, my goodness. With the sounding of the sixth trumpet, the four fallen angels who've been bound at the river Euphrates are released, initiating the second woe judgment. Now, these angels are the leaders of the second wave of the demonic invasion. One fallen angel whose name was Apollyon led the first wave of demons, and four fallen angels lead this wave. You know, the first wave's purpose was to torment but not to kill. This one is commissioned to kill 1/3 of the earth's population. The second woe is much greater than the first, and it's important to point out that this is a demonic judgment. It's not an army of humans coming from the east. Commentators had a sensationalistic field day with these 200 million demons, trying to make them the Chinese army, but it doesn't say that. The context does provide for, it doesn't. There is a kings from the east invasion in chapter 16, but it's not here. Even then, chapter 14 explains who these kings are. The two are involved in separate judgment. But here, back to this trumpet judgment, we see that the kings of the east are part of the bowl judgments. So in summary then, let's just look at this. These woe judgments are led by four fallen angels. Their location is said to be at the great river Euphrates, where Babylon is located today. It's in southeast Iraq. And that's going to be the future headquarters for the Antichrist, the false prophet, and the and Satan, the unholy trinity. Their description here, though, demonstrates that they are demons coming. Demons coming. Now, the corresponding Old Testament description of this judgment and these demonic activities is seen in Joel chapter 1, verse 15, all the way through chapter 2, verse 11. He describes a trumpet being sounded, announcing the approaching army of demons. And he describes them as horses with horsemen. Then he describes them as noisy and bringing terror, having speed and discipline in their attack. This is an example of one of the Old Testament prophecies being fulfilled in the book of Revelation. You know, we know that there is a demonic world, and we are sure of that because Christ expelled some from individuals who had them within their bodies. Look what Luke 8:26 says. And they arrived at the country of the Gerasenes, which is over against Galilee. And when he was come forth unto the land, there met him a certain man out of the city who had demons, and for a long time he had worn no clothes, and abode not in any house, but in tombs. And when Jesus saw, he cried out, and he fell down before him with a loud voice. He says, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I beseech thee, torment me not. For he was commanding the unclean spirit to come out from the man, and oftentimes it had seized him, and he was kept under guard and bound with chains and fetters, and breaking the bands asunder, he was driving the demons into the desert. And Jesus asked him, "What is thy name?" He said, "Legion," for many demons were entered into him. And they entreated him, this is the demons now, that he would not command them to depart unto the abyss. Now, there was a herd of swine feeding on the mountain, and they entreated him that he would give them leave to enter into them, and he gave them leave, and the demons came out from the man and entered into the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep into the lake, and they were drowned. So let's close here and just look at, for example, the spirit world destinations after death. Some well-meaning Christians have refused to believe in the existence of demons, and this is problematic since the Lord Jesus affirmed the demonic world by demonstrating his power over them. And another term or name, if you will, for this phenomena is evil supernaturalism. And our knowledge of this group comes from the Old Testament. Sin began in heaven with Lucifer, the son of the morning. He was the highest, most exalted cherub of all of heaven's created beings. He led a celestial revolt that spread to myriads of the angelic beings. Isaiah 14, verses 12 to 20. During his rebellion, his name was changed to Satan. Satan is the Hebrew word for adversary. He wasn't created evil. Now, revelation concerning him started with his sinless career. Now, I don't mean the book of Revelation. I mean just revelation within the Bible. Sometime between the perfect creation of heaven and the earth and the catastrophic judgment upon the earth, he fell. He fell. And he became Satan. As Satan, he enters into the Garden of Eden, and he indwelt a serpent, and he caused our first parents to die. He caused sin to come into this earth. Now, the best revelation that we have regarding this subject, Satan drew these angels aside, and they followed him in his defection. And just like Satan, they didn't abide in the truth. John 8:44. And we know that in the New Testament, some of these angels who kept not their first estate, 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 1:6, that are reserved unto the chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment of the great day, are represented by the demons. The Old Testament calls them Shadim. The Jews regarded idols as demons that allowed themselves to be worshipped. Now, I'm going to close for there today. We'll pick this back up, starting with some of these demons, because we've just read these trumpet judgments, these woe judgments. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you in our next session.
We hope you have been blessed by this message today on a contemporarily relevant Bible topic. Dr. Woodhead has been teaching the Bible for 25 years. He is a pastor, an author, and conference speaker on various biblical subjects. Dr. Woodhead is the Dean of the Jewish Studies School at Schofield Seminary. His seminary teaching includes the Old Testament and Biblical Hebrew. He has attended Hebrew University in Jerusalem and Hebrew College in Massachusetts. If you would like a DVD of today's program, please write us at Post Office Box 48, Hart, Michigan, 49420. Again, that's Post Office Box 48, Hart, Michigan, 49420, or call us at 877-706-2479. That's 877-706-2479. Once again, 877-706-2479. The cost is $15. Let us know if you have any questions about today's broadcast. We look forward to providing you with continuing Bible messages each week on this station. God bless you.
Take us there to the land of Zion, next year in Jerusalem. B'shana haba'ah beYerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. O hear, O Israel, hear. O Lord, thy kingdom come, thy will be done next year. B'shana haba'ah beYerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem.